Today on The Dangerous Ones, our guest is an absolute powerhouse actor and comedian, starring in such movies as James Cameron's True Lies, opposite Arnold Schwarzenegger, 9 Months, Happy Endings, and many more. He's been a vocal critic of Donald Trump, and in 2019 made the miniseries The Hunt for the Trump Tapes for Viceland. In 2020, he reunited with his brother and sister for the first time in 28 years and helped produce an unbelievable docuseries for Discovery called Queen of Meth, which was a true story about how his sister was a queen pin running a huge drug operation. Now he's back to his roots, performing stand-up comedy across the country, and we can't wait to see him when he comes to Portland on December 16th. Ladies and gentlemen, we're proud to welcome to The Dangerous Ones, actor, comedian, father, the iconic Tom Arnold. Tom, welcome.
I don't have to yell to keep up with you, but I'm big fans of your work, you guys.
Oh, thank you.
And a lot of what you've done for our country, for my mental health, and very talented too. So yeah, it's good to be here. We have 2 schools to drive to a day now.
Oh my God! Right.
Yeah, then you have to go to middle school. So
right.
It's we're on a tight schedule around here.
I hear you. Oh my goodness. I mean, Nick's in the same boat over here.
Yeah, single dad too. Yeah.
Our kids are finally, we have a last one on their senior year in college, so we're almost done.
Almost done, man.
Thank goodness. Okay.
Probably not.
Let's get started. We want to get to the comedy tour and everything because that's super exciting. But first, let's start with some stuff that's going on in the news. Our last few episodes have been about Gavin Newsom's recent brutal trolling of Donald Trump. The episodes have been getting a huge response because everyone agrees this is exactly how we should be attacking him.
And he deserves it.
Stop with the political correctness, take the fucking gloves off, and troll him at his own game. Have you been seeing this, Tom, and what do you think of the governor's approach?
Well, I like Gavin Newsom a lot. I've liked him for a long time before he was lieutenant governor or whatever he was. This is, first of all, it's funny. When things are funny, people pay a little attention to. Yeah. Especially when he's trolling such a weird world.
Yeah.
Like Baldy, he hired some good people to help with that. I hope he continues. That is the only way to fight this. If we can fight this, he may very well have aspirations, but right now is what he has to do is stop it. I appreciate it.
And you've done some fighting back too. I mean, obviously, but back in, I think it was 2019, we watched this awesome show you did called The Hunt for the Trump Tapes. Can you speak a little bit about what that was about and the effectiveness?
Well, as 2018 with Vice, the idea was that I had 8 episodes. I would look for each alleged tape, research it, do whatever. Go to Russia, interview sex workers. By the way, they do pee on people. I'm just going to tell you.
Right.
Business. And, it was coincidence because Trump was there in 2013 in Moscow at the Ritz-Carlton when a lot of shenanigans went down. I lived there in 2015, made a movie, and lived there. So I had the opportunity to talk to the people, first of all, that worked there. This before people knew he was going to be president. So people shared a lot of stuff. But, my thing was, let's see if I never believed that Trump got peed on. The PP tape. But the other journalists have gotten to the bottom of this. David Corn and Michael Itzkoff. Here's the deal. In that room where Trump slept at the Ritz-Carlton, which is where Obama had slept, they show you around. And, they had some, I don't know if they're sex workers, but 6 or 7 women showed up there, and he requested the one pee on the bed. Now that's very believable. The summer before that, he had gone to a late night show in Vegas, and the entertainer pees into a champagne flute, which is very hard. I could never do that. Hey, Cord and Iskov have a picture of him watching it, and I can see a light bulb like, oh my God. I'm sure he did that, but I'm also sure that his relationship with Putin is beyond any kind of blackmail or anything. I don't know how to describe it, but in love with him.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. He wants to be him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that has to be clear to everybody, because right now his feelings are so hurt that he didn't agree right away, Putin, to what he requested. And I am glad that the European folks and the Ukrainian folks came in, or they know how to suck up to him. You talk, go around the table, say nice things, but ultimately, if it gets peace there, which is, and it can't be peace where Putin is in control, because he will always be Putin. He will always be terrible. Trump will always be terrible. He's authentic. I've known him 45 years. He's authentically terrible. The worst part is all the people around him, the Marco Rubios, the suck ups, and I guess they have to suck up and do what he says. But that's been the most disappointing thing. And Gavin Newsom, maybe 5 years ago, he said, these people are going to follow Trump. Trump's going to go off a cliff, and they're all going to follow him into the sea like lemmings. And he's right. Nobody's going to come out of this okay. It's just getting worse and worse. And I love the Epstein thing. He was very good friends with Jeffrey Epstein. They hung out. They did business together. He patterned his modeling agency after Jeffrey Epstein. He said amazing things about him. So why are people surprised? They're like, wait, was Trump involved? There's nobody more involved than Trump with Jeffrey Epstein. They were best friends. And it's so great that he and his buddies were going to get to the bottom of this. We get the White House, Kash Patel, all those other guys, even Trump. We're going to solve this thing. We're going to expose the Democratic lizard people, files. And then once they get there and looks at it, they're like, okay, forget that.
Actually.
Yeah. We have to stay on that, because it's so, I don't know there's something in there that's bothering him.
Yeah.
Oh, he's in there. Oh, yeah. For sure. I mean, come on,
the more he talks about it, the worse it is. He's out. I appreciate that the victims are speaking up, because nobody's talked to them from his administration. He sent his buddy in there to talk to Ghislaine, who is a victim, but that victimized a lot of other people. So, there's more to come with that.
Also transitioning from P tapes and Epstein back to Gavin for a second. I know, Nick, you had a question.
Yeah, so Gavin Newsom, current governor of California, you are good friends with a former governor of California, are you not? Arnold Schwarzenegger. And he's been one of the most outspoken people against gerrymandering. So I was just wondering what your thought was, like less on the communication side of what Gavin Newsom is doing, which I think we all agree is great. What about the political side and the gerrymandering effort that he's doing in response to the Texas stuff?
Well, Arnold has always been anti-gerrymandering, and he's got a whole organization. He went around the country talking to everybody, let's not do this. Here's what we're going to do. So, of course, it's an odd position, a little odd for me, because I like both of them. Yeah. But I think Arnold, I hope he's aware of the situation we're in. He does not like Trump. He does not like that Texas is doing this thing. But he has to stick on brand, because in gerrymandering, he's the guy that was his political thing, going around the environment, gerrymandering, going around talking to people, getting them to some kind of consensus. And then obviously that's not working anywhere.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much he'll say. I know he has said stuff. And I'm sure he's talked to Gavin, and we'll see what happens. It depends if people want to go. I hate these special elections. We waste a lot of money. The Republicans tried to get Gavin out of office. That wasted a lot of money. But we'll see what happens. I mean, he's hitting it hard, and they are trying to steal the election. There's no two sides to this. They genuinely, literally, you've never heard a president call, I need 5 more seats, governor of Texas. Yeah. Forget the blood stuff. Forget the gun stuff you were working on.
Yeah.
Important thing that we can do. So we'll see how it goes. But, they got to do what they got to do. There's going to be a lot about it. He's certainly got the Democratic Party out here lined up, and it's also reminds people how you have to fight for things, and maybe this is the way, but you got a lot of shit's going on, man, and you have to step up. So I have to go back to the Trump show quick.
Yes,
please.
My son is 12. He gets all of his content from YouTube. He got me this shirt, a guy from YouTube. And last night he was going, once in a while, he doesn't admit it, but he'll get on the Tom Arnold YouTube, and he saw that I got a fist fight with Mark Burnett at this big, a night before the Emmys party. Oh my God, what do I have to do now? Nothing. And all the newscasts of that, where Mark Burnett, who's Trump's bestie, attacked me, I say. But I was walking up the stairs. This is the biggest party in Hollywood. And I was kind of the last guy there, me and my buddy who just won an Oscar for Icarus, Vogel. We're like, let's go to this thing. I mean, it's whatever. We're walking up the stairs to it. I see Mark Burnett standing at the top of the stairs like freaking king of the hill. I'm like, okay, this guy, like he's blocking me. And I thought, well, I'm just going to be cool, ignore him, walk around him. As I start walking around him, he gets me on this screen.
Oh.
And so the guy that hosts Survivor, I heard him yell, Mark's choking him. And so he gets me here, and I almost went backwards, and I get my finger in his belt loop, and I pull myself. I said, you better let me get my fucking balance so we can fight fair. And so I pulled myself up even with him. And then you can see in the news reports, then he had a big gold Jesus chain. I went for that first. Do damage that people can see. Now, the problem with that was all the huge stars, they never saw me walk up the stairs. All they see me is at the top of the stairs doing this. So I'm happy that it happened because, he's such a, coward. And it's been so, this stuff with Trump, he's one of the most responsible people, and he loves it. He brags about it. He's like, my best friend's the most powerful man in the world, Tom. I will crush you. Well, he doesn't. He can't crush me. What the Melania tape? Did he beat her up in the elevator? I found the lawyer that represented the person with the tape. It's down here. And, there's a lot of, the idea that he roughed up Melania is so on point with him. I found out Luke Robitaille's wife, Stacia, she had dated him. They went up in an elevator, Madison Square Garden. He did the same thing to her. So that's how whether it be Bill Cosby, where people are coming out that but that's how he is. And that's not the worst part of him. But I had a lot of fun doing that show. The last thing I want to say, we've had to put up so much shit, this country, so many bad people. Elon Musk, like inhuman, cruel. That is what it's all about. Cruel, very much on drugs, by the way. Allegedly, up as anti-drug, but very high all the time, making these crazy decisions that genuinely hurt people and will hurt us, for years to come. And RFK Jr., who I've known a long time too, he was great when he did the environment. We used to do a whole bunch of stuff together, but he's a pathological liar. And he has that ego thing with Trump and these other men have that's insatiable. And he will say anything and do anything. And if you call him out, he gets weird. He does. His voice is worse than mine right now, which is very annoying. But the one good thing about him, the one thing I bite that I'm like, he has said that he has a worm in his brain that ate a hole in his brain.
Right.
But he said that during a hearing to get his alimony reduced. So, you gotta come up with some shit there.
Just rotten to the core.
Yeah.
We were talking about comedy, and we're gonna get into your tour in just a second. But you brought up canceling, and I wanted to ask you, what is it like now? What was it like pre-pandemic, and what is it like now? How does woke and canceling now figure into comedy? Because when I was younger, my favorite comedian of all time was Sam Kinison by far. And to this day, and I love Howard Stern, and that's just how it is, and I'll never change. I'm curious, how is it for comedians like you in this new age of canceling and woke?
Yeah, Bill Hicks. How great is Bill?
Oh my God, yes.
Richard Pryor. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
I think it's bullshit.
Mhm.
I think there are bookers that are like, how political? They're worried I'm going to be super political. I did shows in Naples, Florida this last January. I'm told they were concerned. They're all Trumpers. They're older, they're Republicans. I'm sure they all vote for Trump. But you find a way around that where you have to acknowledge, that Trump. Yeah, the Biden situation is also ripe for comedy. You can go through those two things, and not in a cruel way, but I had friends that I meet in my business, liberals, that said, I'm voting for Trump. And I'm like, why? And they're like, he got shot in the ear, man. That was I tell them, Joe Biden died 5 years ago. And God damn it. So don't worry about it. I'm aware of it. The people that come to my shows are very aware of me, my life, whatever's going on. There are comedians a whole living, and Roseanne was doing that. She was a great comedian. Roseanne Barr, when I met her in 1983, we worked together in the Midwest. I'm like, she's brilliant, man. She's brilliant. And she, she knew the secret to men. We know we're good looking, but she told me that I was very funny. If you tell us we're funny, then it was brilliant. I don't know what happened with her, but I saw a special did for Fox, whatever, and it was all the same cancel culture bullshit, the call outs, all the same shit. And every comedian does that sucks so bad. And some of them used to be funny, but it's also not working because we both heard it. But again, there's always going to be very shitty comedians.
Right,
and,
right.
And if you can't make fun of, that's why this Greg Gutfeld is the most unfunny person. I think there was a time he was pretty funny. He had a show called Red Pill or some shit. It was late night, and I'd watch it after I'd do a set, and he'd have a mix of people, and that was kind of funny. But he literally cannot say anything bad about Trump, and he's so hateful.
Yeah.
It's a hard position to be in. You can't puss out.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I couldn't agree more. And we want to talk about the tour as well.
Yeah. So this is your first comedy tour in a while.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
How is it? Because
my first thing, it's great. It's a lot, going stage to stage. And I'm off this week. Last week, my son went with me. My son is 6'1.5". He just started the 6th grade.
Wow.
230, size 14 shoe. And he was I've got to tell you, my back was bugging. And he was very helpful. He dealt with the people at the show. The pictures kept people moving. And it reminded me that when my kids were babies, I'm a single dad there. When they were little babies, I did everything for them. I loved it. Changed every diaper. And then when they get about 7 or 8, maybe 8, they can start doing stuff with you. Like, hey, grab that, I'll grab this. And now it's getting close to doing everything for dad. So people come out. They're very cool. I do about between 60 and 75 minutes. And then afterwards, I have my merchandise for my heart Camp del Corazon. That's really an excuse to come and then spend some time with me. And people tell me bananas stuff because I'm so honest about my bananas stuff. And it's an honor. There's a lot of people come and talk about sobriety. A week ago in Detroit, the line, I spend more time in the line between shows talking to people, taking to the show. So a woman comes up and she's, a little spicy, She is talking to me and said, I make Labubu clothes. Now, Labubu are these dolls that are way too expensive. And yet they get into my daughter's backpack, hook on. And so I was looking for some clothes, which are very expensive. And she showed me her Instagram, and they were beautiful. She really worked on all these clothes. And And I said, "Oh, that's fantastic. Like, I'd like to send you some. You and Jeff Lewis, buddy of mine, who has sure." And she said, "The guy behind me wanted to wait till last. He says he has something very important to tell you, very personal." So she leaves. The guy comes up. He's like, "My best friend was raped by a Catholic priest. Here, it's in the news. He sued them. He got a settlement, but he's not doing well. He's very worried about him." And so I said, "Okay, let's do a video. I'll tell him because I have not that exact experience, but with a pedophile who, when I was young, who my crazy ass mom left me with, so she'd go drinking for 3 years. And my case, later when I got sober, an adult, I went, this is at 4 to 7. As an adult, as when you get sober, you're like, oh shit, that did happen. What am I going to do about that? But, my thing with that guy was, I don't want to be at Walmart in Atomo, Iowa, my hometown, have that guy behind me.
Yeah.
Go, hey, see the famous guy? I fucked him. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So I tracked him down. My brothers tracked him down. And you can Google this. And I worked with my therapist. I did not want to, you want to kill the guy, but you can't because that would hurt you. So my brothers, they find him. He's a big businessman, church leader, very successful. Fly into Des Moines. I practice my therapist, what I'm going to say. I'm going to give you back the pain and shame you caused me as a kid and whatever. We'll do my life. I go to do his place of business. The receptionist goes, she goes, oh my God, it's Tom Arnold. It's Iowa, by the way, everybody. I said, I'm here to see Terry. She goes, I'll call him and tell him. I go, don't call him and tell him. Here is his office. So I start walking down towards his office. He comes out because she did call and tell. And he starts walking up on me. He's a big dude. And I hadn't seen him since I was a kid. I start my spiel, give me back to pain and shame he caused me as a kid. And he came up and put his finger right in my chest and said, your memories are false, which he's been confronted before. And for a second, I was 4 years old.
Yeah.
Laundry in his backyard, for real. And then I went, I'm not 4 years old. I'm a big man. And so I took his hand. I said, and if you try to do that to me again, I'd break your fucking neck. So then I see in his eyes. Then I walk out of there, a shit ton of bricks off my shoulders, feeling so good. I went right to the state capitol. Terry Branstad was the governor. He's a Republican. I go in his office. I said that the cops can't help me, statute of limitations, but this guy's about to adopt his fourth son. I said, you got to do something. He's like, no, you're asking me to commit a federal offense. Huh? And it's a federal offense that you're asking me. You were never here. And so I leave there, bummed. And then my brother calls me a few days later, said the adoption fell through. Kind of paperwork.
Thank God.
So, yeah. And so I thought, have I done everything? I went on Oprah. And they said, think of another name. And I called him Terry Williams on Oprah because that was his name. His brothers came forward, 30 other kids. I put up signs, kid high, 6 blocks around his house, his crimes, his address, his face. And I think that's successful. Anyway, this guy, I make a video for the guy's friend. Then the woman comes back around. I got to know what was going on with him. And I was like, well, to be honest, he was raped by a priest. And she goes, I got something too. Those clothes that I showed you that I made them in prison. And I'm like, prison 6 years. I think she's like my sister, drugs, right? And she goes, you want to know what I was in prison for? I go, sure. I had sex with one of my students.
Okay.
I looked her up right away. It is a huge story in Michigan. A huge story. And, and she went through the whole thing. Her husband wouldn't have sex with her, all the excuses. But she went away for 6 years, Still look pretty good. I hate to.
Folks, if you ever want to see the craziest fucking docuseries you've ever seen in your life, and Tom Arnold is part of this, it's about his sister, watch Queen of Meth. Holy shit. We watched that when it came out. We were glued to it, man. And I can't believe you lived through that and your sister was part of that. Can you just speak a little bit about that series?
Yeah. Well, people say my sister was the biggest drug dealer in America. She dealt with the Mexican mafia. She had, this is when meth hit. You can make a lot of money off that.
Yeah.
It was a terrible mother. Dealt a little bit, like the first drugs Lori and I ever did were from our mom, of course. But I was aware that my mom wasn't right. But Lori kind of worshipped her. And then she also wanted to compete with her. So my mom made her marry a 22-year-old pedophile. There's a theme in our family. When she was 14, she drove to Missouri, made him get married, and her life went off. Up to that point, she was a great student, athlete, really nice girl. But then her went off the crapper. And I think it's you can't go back to her husband beat her up the night they got married. I went over and got her, but you can't go back to 8th grade. You had your own apartment. You are married. So she had to figure out another plan. And she is smart. So she's like, I'm going to do this meth thing, but I'm going to do it better than anybody. I'm going to do it like a real business. And people are like, was it embarrassing having your sister be a drug dealer? And I'm like, no, when I was doing drugs, it wasn't embarrassing. She built this kind of empire, built an underground lab at her, got sick of running back and forth with the Mexican mafia guys buying the stuff. It's like, I'm going to make it here. She got a scientist from Purdue University who, of course, went crazy as all those guys. You're down there with all the shit. Her husband, her second husband, was head of the Grim Reaper motorcycle gang. And so they had all the bikers running, coast to coast. I always thought it was his fault. And he and I did not get along. Like, he wanted to kill me at all times. And I was, the feeling was mutual. My sister breaking up. Tommy, okay, Floyd, get over there. And he was a very tough guy. But when they got busted the first time, I got a great lawyer for her, a guy named Ron Beschbecher out of Minneapolis. And I said, I think, and it's in there, she does deserve to pay a price, but they wanted her to go to prison for life. She had a 7-year-old son. Maybe we could work something out. She also had to go for 10 because of her guns. She had there's a 3 DA agents undercover at her sitting at a table, and it's a huge drug deal. And the one guy, the DA agent in this documentary series, is very funny. And then one guy, they're like, Lori, we're surprised you're not afraid to make a deal this big. And she goes, why would I be afraid? And pulled her gun out, put it, and then she's 10 years. So they went to prison. Floyd, her husband, died at Leavenworth prison. Lori got out because she cooperated. Floyd would not cooperate. She got out. I got her job at Hormel, where I used to work after high school, saved money for college, best job in Atomo, Iowa. And I get the DA guy calls me. She's quit her job. Oh, shit. She's drinking. Not supposed to drink. Then she's dealing meth. This weekend, if she stops right now, we're not going to bust her again. So I fly into Tumwa, my hometown. My dad, who's a single dad too. My dad, there's 7 kids. I'm the oldest. We go down to the photo studio downtown in Tumwa, the only one we have. Let's get a picture of her dad, I say. And they have this picture. We're all lined up. And as we walk out, I say, Lori, I talked to the DA guy and the highway patrol guy. They know you're dealing, but if you stop right now, they're not going to bust you. And she's like, mind your own fucking business. I busted the next week, and I'd helped her with the Martha Stewart prison. I got her that the first thing, but I'm like, screw it. She's been to go to real prison with a chemical dependency, whatever. And so she did 10 more years.
Wow. Yeah.
And her thing was always like, I'm not addicted to drugs like you. I am a business person. But of course she's addicted to drugs.
Right.
She's addicted to money, drugs, her airplanes, all this stuff. And I just knew that it was going to end horribly. It was when I was moved to Hollywood. I was writing the Roseanne show. I had a farm on the west side of town. She had a farm on the east side of town. And I just, I'm saying, this ends badly. And it did. And I'll tell you what, it devastated my hometown. The factories had closed, Hormel, and everybody went on strike. And so it's right for methamphetamine.
Yeah.
That's a drug. It's not as expensive. And so everything closed down. When she got arrested, all the people under her, and there was a lot, got arrested too. So that generation, there's a generation of kids with no parents.
Oh my God.
With their grandparents or whatever. And some of them turned out great. I had some worked at my farm, but a lot of them did the same thing, same cycle. So it was kind of an American tragedy too, because all that stuff swept through the Midwest, and then it's just right there. right there for that opportunity.
My God, Nick, have you seen this?
I have not.
Oh
No,
my God,
I didn't
you've
even. I
gotta
don't
see
know
this.
anything
Oh my
about this
God.
story. So
I-
it sounds fascinating
Well,
and awful. And thank you
Yeah.
for making a film about it.
Yeah.
The big message is our childhood was not ideal.
Yeah, for
Part
sure.
of the reason I'm like, I'm going to have kids. I'm going to have I'm going to have a family of my own. That was the impetus to me. I'm not going to. I've seen the bad side of it, and so I'm very grateful today that this is the life.
Man.
And it's the best life.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah,
And
congratulations.
it's so exciting to see you back on tour.
On the road.
He's going to be coming to Portland December 16th. And Tom, we are not only coming to the show, but if you get a few minutes, come into the studio here. Let's have you on the show here. That would be so much fun.
Yeah.
Folks, go to tomarnoldcomedy.com. Tom, I know you want to say something. Go ahead.
Well, I am big fans of all three of you guys, but I didn't know you were buddies. I didn't know Nick was involved with you guys. I don't know if you have a kind of a Jerry Falwell Jr. thing going there. I don't know what the three of you is. Tiffany, I've talked to the most, but it's good to see when good people join up, and that's why you'll have all the success for this. You could go to tomarnoldcomedy.com, I think it is, and see the whole tour, which goes into next year, all over, but mostly Portland. I'm very excited to get up there.
And thank you to Max Mizell for setting it all up. I know he's your opener, and he scheduled this entire tour, and just tell him thanks, because it's really good to see you on the road again.
Let me say this about Max. He is about 5'2", super good looking. He's a fitness guy in Venice with these women's fitness guys. He talks a lot about not being gay, like a little too much. But I met him. He opened for me. He said, "How do I open more shows for you?" And he's friends with the woman that played my daughter on NCIS New Orleans. She's a high quality person. She comes over and plays with kids. And I go, here's how. You book a tour all over the country. Because at that point, I didn't have a personal appearance agent at the agency. They didn't do that. They did movies, whatever. And my manager's like, "We got this.
Oh.
Don't worry." And he said, "Start working. I think we need a new bio." I go, "What? You're my manager. Write a new bio." Then a couple months later, here's 5,000 potential places that you can perform. Every theater, every comedy club, every whatever in the country. Take your time, go through it, pick some places. And I wrote back, I want to perform at every one of these. I have been in court for 8 freaking years with my ex about this kid stuff. It's very expensive. And then Little Max in 4 days booked a big part of it. And, he's he's a go-getter. He sets up the stuff. I said, you got to deal with the travel, the money, and he's really doing well. And I think he's getting a lot out of it.
Nice.
So grateful to him.
I tell you, people who we're doing some hiring here at the Dangerous Ones as well, and people who work hard, you just can't beat it. Tom, thank you for coming on the show. Truly from the bottom of my heart. We've been watching you since the early 80s, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is truly I'm not just saying this, it's a moment, man, for us. Thank you for coming on the show. And we'll put the link to tomarnoldcomedy.com on the screen. We'll put it in the description. And we can't wait to see you on December 16th, brother.
Can't wait.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. And cut. Thank you so
Great.
much, Tom.
Yeah, thank you guys.
All right.
I'm thrilled to do this.
Thank you.
Oh,
And please
thanks.
come back on anytime.
Yeah, we gotta make a movie together, Tiffany.
Hell yeah.